what are the vibes truly like for this Boston Red Sox team right now? You're about to find out on today's Locked On Red Sox.
You are Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Red Sox, your daily Boston Red Sox podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Gabby Hurlbut, former ESPN social media associate and current host of the Boston Balling podcast. And I am here to bring you the latest in all things Boston Red Sox Monday through Friday, straight to your favorite podcast feed for free. That's right, it is free, so might as well start your day off right by tuning in to Locked On Red Sox. Locked On is your team every day. Welcome to another episode of the show, and happy Friday. The Red Sox are finally done with their homestand and are hitting the road to a beautiful PNC Park. If you have not been there yet, I highly recommend it. One of my favorite ballparks to go to. It truly is a great place with a great vibe, and it has a beautiful, beautiful view from the seats. So absolutely check it out if you want. Hopefully the Red Sox can have a good road trip like they did last time. But on today's show, I have a very special guest joining me who's going to be talking to us in just a little bit about what exactly those vibes are truly like for this Boston Red Sox team right now. And that is Red Sox catcher Reese McGuire. Now, Reese has had an interesting time with the Boston Red Sox so far. Took him a while to find his swing and figure out what his place on the team really was going to be and where he was going to fit in the grand scheme of things. And he's off to a very good start at the plate this season. I was actually talking to him and kind of asked him what's actually changed about his plate approach this year to make him be more successful. And he talked a lot about how he was just trying to change a little bit of his intent to pull the ball as well as go the other way. In the past, he kind of said he was looking for ways to hit the ball to the opposite field. And this year, he specifically practiced and worked on hitting the balls in the air to right and what contact point that is on certain pitches. So basically just kind of expanding the baseball field of where he's looking to hit the ball as opposed to just naturally trying to hit the ball to the opposite field every at bat. He kind of practiced that a little bit in the offseason and carried it over into spring training and then was able to practice it more and more to the point where it has translated for him to this upcoming season currently because he has made an impact offensively. He feels like his swing is at its best when he's able to hit that line drive to the opposite field, but he's trying to do a little bit more damage on pitches that are closer to him. That's been a difference for him, is just the approach of expanding on the types of pitches that he's swinging at, the location of where that ball is going, and opening up his ability to hit other pitches that are located in different spots. He's definitely done a lot of damage, and it's been great to see, and it was cool to hear from him about how he's actually succeeded at the plate this year. And another thing he and I did talk about was what makes Fenway Park such a special place to play. And he said it truly is the history there. He actually said he had a moment with Angels catcher Logan O'Hoppe. Basically, they exchanged conversation where O'Hoppe asked Reese, is the experience of playing here as a home player the same experience we have coming here as a visitor and playing, and just the environment of being there? And Reese said it truly is about just how many people fill those stands on a daily basis at Fenway Park, and how this fan base truly shows up through the good and the bad, and they are there to watch games at Fenway. And just knowing how many players have come through Fenway Park, and very historic players, some of the best to ever play the game. And Reese did say something very powerful to me that was like, if I could be associated with players that are all-time greats that came through Fenway Park, if I could do my part to not disappoint the fans, then I'll know that I did wearing that Red Sox uniform justice. So he's very 100% in on his game, improving certain things about his game and keeping everybody motivated to the point where they're appreciative of soaking it all in. And he said everybody in that locker room is just really appreciative of playing in a Boston Red Sox uniform every single day for their job. And that's what people need to remember is this is a career for them. This isn't just a hobby or something they do for fun. This is legitimately their career. And for somebody like Reese, who is a catcher, which is an extra hard job, it takes a lot that goes into being a successful catcher at the major league level. So he's just very appreciative to be able to do this for his career. So next time you see a player struggling, just remember you have hard days at work too, and it's not easy to get to the level they're at. And also another thing that Reese talked to me about was the reason for the Red Sox struggling on the homestand, because they had a great road trip, then they come back to Fenway and we're not playing their best baseball. And he basically explained to me that there are a lot of little things that people don't think about, like where are we going to park at the ballpark? What time do we have to be here for our certain routines? Where are we supposed to be when? And he said it takes that adjusting every year, especially for some of the younger guys on the team who don't have as much experience playing at Fenway. He said that turnaround from having the West Coast trip, coming back, only having a day in between their first home game to practice and get themselves acclimated to being back at Fenway, and then having an afternoon game for their home opener. He said it's a lot to adjust to. Starting the season on the West Coast is a very different experience, because he said basically it puts you in this completely different mindset of, okay, we're in a different time zone right now. We have to perform in a very different way than we do at home, and we have to start this season off strong and push through that time zone. So they were all locked in on that mindset. So then coming back to Fenway was a different experience for them, because they just had to get themselves reacclimated. He said hopefully when they come back for the next homestand, now that they already have one under their belt, things will be better. They know they can play better baseball. Everybody on this roster is aware of that. And according to Reese, every single person in that locker room knows that certain things have gone wrong on this homestand that they need to fix. And he said everybody is determined to fix it. Everybody is determined to be on the same page and stay locked in to the point where they can really showcase what they want to do this season. Because remember, this Boston Red Sox team did not have the highest of expectations going into this year from a fan and media perspective. A lot of people expect them to not be very good, and their West Coast trip showed that they can be better than people think if they push through the injuries and they change their mindset to be focused on winning baseball games. And Reese feels very good about the team right now. He feels like they are in a good spot to be able to win some more baseball games when they come back from their next road trip. And it goes to show that life gets in the way. Real life things that players as adults need to think about when it comes to coming to the ballpark and getting situated and getting used to their routine at home, getting settled back into their apartments, he mentioned, was another big thing that players need to get used to when coming back to Fenway for the first time during that season after a road trip. So it does make a difference. It took a toll on the team. He said they know it's not their best baseball, but that they are determined to stay on track and play better baseball moving forward. Coming up, it's what you've all been waiting for. You are going to hear some of my conversation with Reese McGuire, so you absolutely will not want to miss that. If you're looking for the best sports betting app to really get you into it, or you're into it already, FanDuel is the right place for you. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL, baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel really will help you make a lot of money. I promise you, I can speak from firsthand experience. My fiance has been very successful on it. So head to FanDuel today if you're looking to win big money. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Locked On Sports Today really will always give you the latest in all things going on in sports, no matter what time zone you're in. So check that out today. I am here on Locked On Red Sox, where I was lucky enough to have a conversation with Reese McGuire, and you are about to hear a good portion of that conversation. What are the vibes really like? Tune in to find out. Baseball is a long season. There's lots of games and lots of travel. Mentally, how do you stay focused and motivated for the entire 162 game season?
Well, I mean, for me, it's like let's see, I debuted in 2018 in September, and then, up and down a little bit the next year or whatever, and then I've been kind of up since then. So for me, it's I'm used to it now. I'm experienced enough to know what that long of a season grind is, and not to get too caught up in the highs and lows, especially like right now with this homestand. We're not playing our best baseball, but we know that we're capable of so much more, and there's a lot of baseball left, and for us to get down on ourselves, especially so early, would be doing nobody a favor. I think if anything, it's just we're all itching at the bit to get the next 9 inning game going, because we know we can do some special things, and we know we got a lot of talent. A lot of guys that are like I said earlier, getting their first kind of taste of the big leagues and traveling around and stuff like that. So I think once guys just kind of like get that deep breath and kind of catch their breath over the course of this April month, we should be in a good place. But for me, it's exciting, and a great opportunity to obviously be playing baseball in the big leagues and be able to put the jersey on. And for me, it's just I'm very thankful, and worked hard for this, and going to make the most of the moment. And especially with this team, it's a you got to work for it. Nothing comes easy. So that's what drives me.
Yeah, I mean, especially being able to say I play for the Boston Red Sox, such a historic franchise too, has to be just a special thing. And being a catcher takes so much. What would you say makes being a catcher at the highest level so difficult?
I feel like the biggest difference at the major league level is that every pitch is pretty much under a microscope. Like there is a risk and reward for every, now, I was going to say for every finger you put down for the call, but for now it's every button you press to make a pitch call, there's a risk and reward. And, you can't ever take a pitch off, because when you do, these guys are big league hitters, and they'll make you pay if you miss a spot, miss a location. And so when you're back there behind the dish, you really got to be locked in no matter what. If you've had a hit, if you've had a double, if you've scored that day, or if you're 0 for 2, 0 for 3. And like today for me, I think I was 0 for 2 going back out there in like the 6th or 7th inning, and we still had the 0-0 ball game. And so that's like a kind of a perfect example of like, man, like wish I was able to produce at the plate, but you got to be able to switch gears and lock it back in on defense. And I just think as a minor league player, sometimes you just be still kind of kicking some dirt, still frustrated with your at bat, and you're behind the plate, and maybe you weren't as focused for that at bat or something, and all of a sudden, they got a guy in scoring position, and now you got to really, really lock it in and be like, all right, how do we stop this? But I think the big league level, it's a lot of knowing the hitters' tendencies, and their strengths and weaknesses, and then also obviously knowing your pitcher's strengths and weaknesses, and kind of just game planning it pregame. But then once you're in the moment, there's plenty of baseball instincts that take over, and you recognize certain things, and you roll with it. And as far as pitch calling, but yeah, separating both offense and defense can be very challenging for young players because obviously everyone wants to succeed on both sides of the field. But for me, another way to look at it is on defense, I get to control or help control 27 outs per game. And, for me, hitting wise, like if I get 3 at-bats, 4 at-bats, like that's awesome. Hopefully, able to produce and put some runs across, but there's 27 outs always behind the dish. So those are very important.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot that you need to focus on when you're catching, and just a lot of awareness that you need of what's going on the field with everything going on around you. Alex Cora, from just hearing people talk about him just as a manager, I've heard him be described very much like a player's coach, very much able to connect with the players. So, how would you kind of describe him and what makes him such a successful manager at this level?
Yeah, ever since I got over here, I feel like he's not only had the players' backs, but knew how to talk to each guy, knew how to get the best out of each guy. He's very, very smart. His baseball instincts and like the way he sees the game from his eyes is incredible, and I'm always learning from him. There's certain things throughout a game where we might be picking up on something or deciding to put some pressure on the other opposing team and put on a hit and run or a bunt or something that you obviously can't really prepare for pregame, but when you're in that moment, and we have a coach like a manager like Cora that's not afraid to put together some sort of plan right there. It's been great, and obviously with the other coaching staff and like Veritek, I feel like just their minds are always bouncing ideas off walls and always looking for ways to compete. But I can also say that, especially seeing how this homestands kind of started off, I can just see it in all of our eyes that we're all competitors and we hate to lose. No one likes to lose, and we know that we're capable of more, and they expect more of us. And as professionals and as as a team, we have to continue to keep growing up together, growing up as teammates, and getting the best out of each other. And that's one thing with Cora, I think, is he's never satisfied with how good we're playing when we're at our highs, and he's never gonna stop working when we're at our lows. If anything, we're gonna work harder. So he's definitely one of the best that I've been with.
Yeah, that's definitely great to hear. And it just really seems like the players really respect him and enjoy playing for him. And that's definitely important in a team type of environment, especially when you're around each other so much. And you want somebody at the helm who really cares about the players in that clubhouse. And I think that's something that definitely sets him apart. And I think he's a great fit for this team. How would you describe the general clubhouse vibes for this season? Are you guys feeling pretty good still, even despite the recent struggles at home?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like everyone's excited to be playing baseball for our job and for this team. And obviously with some of the injuries that we had early on, there were definitely some gut punches with that, and everyone feels for those guys, and we know about how hard they've worked, and every ounce of effort that they put in, and to see some of our guys go down like that, it's very sad, and you feel for them. But it's a long season of 162, and it's not the first time that things happen, and it's probably unfortunately not the last time those kind of things are going to happen. And as players, you just got to look around the clubhouse, and it's next man up, and all right, this is your opportunity, all right, this is your opportunity. And you just gotta pull it together, because everyone is a big league baseball player in that clubhouse. Everyone, has some sort of skill, has some sort of ability that allows them to be on this team and be playing in the big leagues. And so everyone's got to believe in each other. So the vibes are are trending up. I would say even with losing a game or a couple games here and there, like that's baseball. It happens, but being able to turn the page and reset for 9 more innings tomorrow and then 9 more innings the next day. It's taking it day by day, taking it game by game, and not trying to get too caught up in where we're at.
Yeah, that's so important too. Just kind of focusing on the next game, because every day you have to go out there and it's a new game, new start. So I like that mentality, and I like how everybody was definitely on the same page with that. Lots of baseball left to play. Certainly looking forward to seeing the rest of the season and see how the team does moving forward. But I really appreciate you taking this time to chat with me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love talking baseball, and obviously I've been pretty much doing it my whole life, so it's
yeah.
It's easy to talk about, and I feel like that's kind of the catcher in me too, is just always kind of talking the game and bouncing ideas of ways to be better and things like that. So I mean, there's always conversations flowing, and we're always looking for ways to get better, and that's why I also feel very excited about our team, and I know that we're hungry to win. And like I said earlier, we hate to lose. Everyone hates to lose if you're a competitor, and get back at them tomorrow, and hopefully we're shaking hands on the field.
And there you have it, folks. You just heard from Reese McGuire himself. The vibes seem to be high with this Red Sox team, despite the fact that they have struggled on this homestand. Can they bounce back? Hopefully they will. And coming up, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about my expectations for Reese McGuire for the rest of this season. Are you looking for a fun way to play daily fantasy sports, especially during a great time of the year for sports? If so, PrizePicks is 100% the place for you. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Spring training is over and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your PrizePicks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks entry today. Get in on the playoff action and win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Basketball postseason is supposed to be so much fun. I'm sure we'll have some great matchups. So this is your perfect time to join PrizePicks. Just download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's a first deposit match up to $100 with code LOCKEDONMLB. I promise you it will not disappoint you, and neither will Locked On Sports Today, as we have a network. As we as a network have launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today will not disappoint, as it is a great way for you to stay caught up in all things going on in sports, no matter what time zone you're in. So definitely make sure to subscribe to that today. You just heard from Reese McGuire, and he gave his perspective on the Boston Red Sox right now, where this team is at, and moving forward, what to expect in terms of vibes for the rest of the season. Now, for me, if Reese McGuire can keep up the performance that he's given so far this season, that'll be an absolute game changer for the Red Sox. If you think about the makeup of this team right now and the fact that the offense has been so inconsistent overall, Reese has been a pretty constant, consistent hitter overall so far in this lineup. And we did see some glimpses of that last year when he showed his ability to be strong at the plate and string together some hits. He was actively able to change his swing a little bit this offseason. Some of the things that he told me about what's worked for him in the offseason that he translated over into spring training and then again into this season. And it was cool to hear from him on that because he understands more than any of us what's working for him. And he was in too many habits before that he felt like he needed to get out of and really just mix up his ability to hit different types of pitches and different locations and hit to more parts of the field. So it's really been working for him so far. And I feel that he has the attitude to continue to succeed in this way. I think he's proven to us that he has a good read on the baseball and he can perform to a level of consistency. Being a good hitter really involves getting to the root of the problem. What are you doing? What bad habits are you in that need to be changed in order for you to succeed more as a hitter throughout the rest of your career? And for Reese, it was interesting to see the way that he looked last year and how he looks this year in terms of just overall confidence and being able to hit more baseballs in different directions. So I do expect him to be able to continue this. I feel like he's gotten himself into some good habits here at the plate that he can maintain moving forward. It seems like he almost cracked the code in a sense of what he was lacking in prior. I don't think he'll be an over 300 hitter. That's very difficult to do. And especially for a catcher, there's so many other things that you have to focus on the field while you're out there, as you heard him talk about during the interview. But he will still be a good, successful hitter for this Boston Red Sox team. And when I'm looking at the lineup right now, I still expect him to be one of the most consistent hitters moving forward. And when you look at the catching tandem of him and Connor Wong, this is a good situation to be in for the Red Sox because both of them have been putting up numbers at the plate and they both have shown their ability to be strong and be successful in their respective position. So it's very good and very promising to have the two of them combined hitting the way that they are. And it's going to make the Red Sox decision very difficult when Kyle Teel eventually gets called up to this Red Sox roster as a catcher. Then what do they do? Because they only need two catchers on the roster. So one of these two catchers is going to be moved. But either way, they're in a situation where both of their value is high right now. Both of them are looking good. And as long as they can stick with the habits they're in and continue to hit well, then their value will continue to be high to the point where a team will want them if they package them in with somebody else and the Red Sox can get a good return on it. And if Reese ends up being a guy that the Red Sox move when Kyle Teel does get called up, he's certainly doing his job right now to show that he deserves to be on a starting roster for a major league club moving forward, regardless of what that team is. And I'm sure there's a team out there that could use his skills. He seems like a great leader in terms of the way that he just loves talking about the game and loves being around the game and just his appreciation for being able to play every day, even on the hard days, and being able to bounce back from the hard days. And even if he's having a frustrating day at the plate, being able to continue to facilitate and help the pitcher out so that they can have a good outing moving forward. So there's a lot as a catcher to focus on. So it could be mentally tougher to keep themselves balanced, keep themselves on track with knowing, okay, this is my job to make sure that this pitcher is doing everything that they can to succeed right now. I'm making sure they're utilizing their best pitches and I'm knowing the opposing hitters and making sure that I'm aware of the types of pitches that they struggle to hit and the types of pitches that my pitcher is best at throwing so that he can then utilize those pitches moving forward. So being a catcher is truly the hardest position on the field. You have to show lots of leadership. You have to be aware of a lot of different things. And nobody truly knows these pitchers as well as their catchers do. And I've said that for a while now, is there truly is nobody like a catcher on the field. They are so important to what the team does overall. And it's really important to just acknowledge the work that they do, because we as a society would not be able to have successful baseball without Reese McGuire, without Connor Wong, without catchers who are truly aware of what's going on out there. Now, do they make their mistakes? Yes, they do. Are they the best hitters on the team? Absolutely not. But certainly this season that Reese McGuire is having offensively, you can make an argument that he's one of the most consistent Red Sox hitters in the lineup right now. And that's why I needed to get him on when I did, because he has just had a very good start to the season, and I wanted to hear his perspective on what's really driving that for him and what has worked for him and what hasn't. And hopefully he can continue to provide that confidence to the rest of the team that they need in order to be successful. And he can be that guy that these Red Sox players can look to and say, okay, he's helping us to stay motivated all season long. That's a catcher's job. Make sure everybody's staying focused when they're out there. They really, truly are the leaders of the team on the field, and they can be good leaders off of it too. So happy that I was able to talk to Reese. Happy he gave you some insight as to where the Red Sox are at right now, because the homestand was certainly tough. The Red Sox did not play their best baseball on it. He was the first to admit that. But moving forward, they can take this and try to move on to the next series and hopefully be celebrating some wins moving forward. So as fans, the best thing that we can do is trust in that, have faith in this team, and just continue to keep that faith. Like I always do say, go Red Sox, and I will catch you on the flip side.